Hello, dear all, and welcome back to UPES Heartfulness Science and Spirituality Club's fourth session of its webinar series, Connecting Within. After receiving an overwhelming response for our previous webinars, we are again with yet another insight packed talk about the very uber cool term that is being used a lot these days. Any guesses? Yes, it's the new normal. Although it is almost 3 months to lockdown, and things like working from home, managing household chores, staying indoors, or completely shifting to digital platforms, we might think that we are used to all this now. But balancing all of this at the same time has become so difficult that people are striving to adjust and acquaint themselves with this new normal. But you don't have to worry because our today's discussion is all about how to prepare ourselves for the new normal. So, I, Shivali Gupta, moderator for today's session, welcome you all in our today's fruitful talk. Before we begin, let's see what is heartfulness. Heartfulness is a subtle practice of meditation and relaxation that connects us with the love and divine energy in our hearts so that we can live our life more joyfully. With the same inspiration, we, the students of UPES, started our own club under the name of UPES Heartfulness Science and Spirituality Club, wherein we conduct weekly meditations in both campuses, Kandoli and Bidoli. Also, we call upon international guest speakers from Heartfulness organization with an aim to help students benefit and imbibe from meditation and relaxation practices. With this, I feel honored to introduce our guest speaker for today's session. He is the jack of all trades. Yes, Mr. Sanjay Sehgal. He is the CEO and chairman of MSY Technologies. Profiled in numerous awards, he was recognized as the most innovative digital transformation CEO in 2019. Mr. Sehgal is a truly inspiring person and one of the best motivational speakers with most encouraging and experiential stories for overcoming obstacles and challenges of life. He also indulges in his avid passion for philanthropy with his association with global a non-profit organization called Heartfulness, and he manages their digital initiatives. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Shivali. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivali. Thank you.
And audience, I, as always, say that we have a small gift from us to you. So this time also, we'll have a small meditation and relaxation session after the talk. So sit back, relax, and stay tuned. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. It almost sounds like sit back, relax, and be ready to take off. We're all missing flying. I travel a lot, so I for once, I'm missing the fun of flying these days. So thank you all for having me today, and I hope to have a wonderful interactive session followed by meditation. Looking forward to it. And I think just to kind of introduce the topic a bit, I was going to talk about, the how to adjust to new normal, as Shivali very cutely said, the new normal, right? I mean, that's the buzzword, new buzzword, uh, NN we call it, right? New normal. So, to me, I had in fact written about it recently in Heartfulness magazine that. Very soon, the way things are going, very soon, we will talk about our lives in two distinct terms, BC and AD. BC would mean before Corona, and AD would mean after the disappearance of Corona. I'm sure you all know BC and AD in terms of the calendar years. So here will be the new BC and AD would be, oh, before Corona we used to do this, now we don't do this. So I think it is better we figure out what would be required to live our life in a cool fashion in AD and be prepared for it. The certain things that we took for granted in BC may not necessarily come back. I mean, many new things will come back, but may not come back in the same manner as they were in BC. So let's talk about AD and let's talk about how, I mean, let's be hopeful that life will become normal, but it will be a new normal, right? So I think with this,
Yes.
I will, Shivali, if you have any questions, so we'll go to that.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So, in these past months, all of us have gone through so much aggravation due to rising number of deaths from corona and various other issues which are only topping up the situation. Let's say locust problem, then job hardships, and daily coming across such heart-wrenching stories. So, should we still be hopeful about the future and find silver lining in all of this?
Of course, I mean, you don't have a choice. I'll tell you a story about it. That they say that there was a plague, right? I mean, plague virus was there a few years ago, and a man was,
Yes.
met a plague virus. He asked him that you have come to my town, let's say Dehradun now, so I need to run away. He said, "Don't worry, I have come here to kill 5,000 people." So the guy said, "No, I will still take precaution and I will hide." You know, so he went into lockdown for a few weeks. He came back and he heard that 50,000 people had died. So he was very angry. He talked to plague. I mean, he said, "You told me 5,000, but 50,000 died." He said, "I killed only 5,000. Remaining 45,000 died because of stress and fear and anxiety." You get it?
Okay.
Right? So I
Yes, sir.
think it is to us. See, any situation we face in life, as long as we can maintain positive attitude while facing it, I think we can face it in a better way. I mean, you have a choice. You can be worried about it, be concerned about it all the time. You can disturb your health, or you can face it, look into that adverse situation in the eye. That's why they say, the how to maintain. There have been a lot of things. I myself have been conducting how to maintain positive attitude. It is very, very important. You don't have the things you don't change in our life. They say the events are something that are not in our not in our hand to
So your
change.
voice is
Okay, can you hear me better? Is it better now?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now I was saying that there's a formula
Yes, sir. Better.
I often talk about. I say E plus R equals to O. E is the event that happens, right? O is the outcome. E is not in your hand.
Okay.
Outcome is what you want, good outcome. So only thing in this equation in your hand is R. That is your response. So E is the event, R is the response, O is the outcome. So response is the only thing you manage, you can control, and response is dependent upon your mental state. If you're in positive frame of mind, you can respond much better, right? Same. That's why we all suggest meditation, right? One of the reasons why we suggest meditation is because it helps you maintain that connection away from those chatter outside to more within yourself, right? Outside maybe millions of locusts, millions of this, the China and this and that, but inside it's only you and yourself. So even if you spend few minutes every day in doing that, it'll help you in being able to respond to any event in a much better way.
So, but we are always around these kind of news situations, people. We are all into this, electronic media. Then how come we can stay, without any restlessness and still find time to relax and meditate and look within ourselves?
I mean, that's a very good question, and me included. I mean, I think when you introduce me, I say I manage digital initiatives for heartfulness and all. I mean, I think between By the time I'll end this session, there'll be million emails and few 100,000 WhatsApp messages and all that and stuff. I mean, that is true, but I think we have to learn to manage this, right? And I think I will tell you another story about it. Have you heard about this? There's an insect called centipede, right? Centipede is an insect with
Yes, sir.
100 legs. Okay. So they say the centipede
Yes.
was walking down the road, and somebody asked him, hey, you have 100 legs and you're walking so in kind of coherence. How do you know which leg to put first? Yeah, I mean, same thing with us. I mean, we're walking. I mean, do we think which leg to put first? We never think, right? And this guy has 100 legs. I mean, which leg to put first when you start walking? He said, yeah, I mean, never thought about it. And for next few years, he could never walk because every time he wanted to walk, he started thinking which leg to put first, and he could never walk. So that is the answer to your question. To me, problem is not the work we do. Problem is thoughts. We want to think about things too much. If you one thing we learned from Daji, now we're talking about heartfulness, right? We learn from our guide Daji is that do things spontaneously as and when they are needed. Not that we don't need to plan, we don't need to, but if we can turn our life more around spontaneity, right? Much better, or more things we will be able to do rather than planning. Oh, if I get up, I will do this, this, and this. That's how we sleep, most of us. Before sleeping every
Yes.
night, we go through the day timer of tomorrow, right? Or worries of the day, right?
Yes, sir.
Worries of the day, what happened, or day timer of tomorrow, what I'm going to do. Instead of that, if you can just fall asleep without thinking about this, right? Or as we say that,
But so it
just
is
connect
not
with your,
that easy. We
yeah,
can sleep without thinking that what we'll do tomorrow.
try it once. We say that think about, again, connect with your inner self and sleep, right? And that's, I think, if you do that, turn your focus more there rather than outside. I mean, what you're going to do tomorrow, you're going to do anyway. I'll tell you another interesting story about it if you don't mind. Once I walked into my office here in Atlanta, and my director of marketing walked up to me. He said, Sanjay, should we do lunch today? I said, yes, we will have meet for lunch today. I went to my office. He went to his office. 20 minutes later, he called me again. What time do you want to do? I said 12:30. I said okay. Then he called me again. What kind of food you like? I said I'm vegetarian, so you can choose the restaurant. He called me again. Oh, there is a new Greek restaurant. By the time he fourth, fifth call, I had it. I said, Ken, I mean, for me, eating is just thing I will do anyway. I'll feel hungry, I'll eat. I don't think as much as you're thinking about it. We'll meet at 12:30, we'll decide where to go, and we'll eat and come back. I'm more interested in meeting you as a person. I'm more interested in having the conversation with you than figuring out. Now, that's an example that a small act of eating, which we do regardless, he was, or a person, a normal person, thinks so many times about it. No wonder when they say a human being has 80,000 thoughts per day in their mind, means right. I mean, these thoughts are all useless thoughts. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, definitely. It was a good example. Wait. Sir, so as our topics for today is how do we prepare ourselves for the new normal, what do you think, sir, that this term new normal has for all of us? And I mean, I've seen most of my friends and youth saying and putting stories, oh, it is the new normal. And I mean, but we are not really aware that how do we acquaint ourselves with this new normal.
See, I think especially for all of you as students, right? I mean, I also saw some of the questions around the career and the technology and all that. So let me first address that. I think what is going to happen, and I think it is here to stay, even after we may get the vaccine and all that, and that is the digital, the arrival of digital. technologies or arrival of digital way of working, whether you call it work from home and all. So to me, at the end of all this, when we new normal will be when we have the vaccine and when people can go about being with each other without feeling scared. Right now, when we go out, I mean, I go for a walk here in Atlanta every evening, and we wear a mask. And the moment we see somebody else coming from the other side, both me and my wife, we try to maintain a distance. I mean, we go off the pavement or be on one side of the pavement so that we are maintaining distance. So that to me is, I hope this is not new normal. To me, new normal would be when we have the vaccine and we have are able to interact with people in a normal way, right? At least not worrying about it, as long as we see they have been vaccinated or they don't have corona, they're not coughing and all that, right? So to me, in that situation, only two kinds of businesses will survive, right? I mean, after at the end of all this, one which do not require any kind of digital technology, right? Like your neighborhood kirana shop or something. I mean, no digital technology can help them, so they will survive. And the second, where they have 100% converted themselves into digital. Now I think to for students and for working professionals in technology field, that would mean as much as you can gain your expertise in being able to help companies build those things, you will be in more demand. Data analytics, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all those things, of course, have been there in the last few years. But now more than ever, they will be in greater demand. Imagine the kind of data analytics that is being done right now in countries like US and in India to be able to detect when you will have the peak, when you will start tapering off the number of cases and all that. All that is data crunching, right? They are they have created some models, and based on that, they're predicting all this. And so to me, these kind of things are here to stay now, and more of that you will see now. Everything these days, we have been I have been in lockdown pretty much. I mean, other than going for walk for last 3.5 months here in US, and we are able to get everything through delivery. I mean, you can get restaurant food, you can get groceries, you can get anything you want. You can get you can get that delivered. So now imagine all those technologies which had been there now are facing a big, huge upswing, right? I mean, whether it is the online retailers, online delivery services, all those, all the logistics companies working behind all those technologies, they are in great demand. So to me, these are the kind of technologies you will find, and that will be a new normal, working from home. Now, that would mean the real estate companies may not be a commercial real estate, may feel a downturn, right? And because the companies would not require people to work, go to office and all that, we ourselves are now looking at, redoing our leases with certain kind of in some cities and all. So that I think that change will also happen. And now instead of leaving your home, if you ever leave your home with a tiffin box or you will leave with a sanitizer and a face mask or a or some kind of tissue or something, right? I mean that will become the new normal. So these are I think I can go on like that. I think you will now you're sitting in a plane. Imagine even after you have the vaccine, you're sitting in a plane, somebody sneezes, you just going to look who sneezed, and you will try to maintain your distance from that person. So these are the kind of things, behavioral things. I remember even after 9/11, when there was bombing in America, there was a new normal after that. The flights were, I mean, people had stopped flying. People were really scared of flying. And if in the flight, especially in America, I'm talking about, in the flight, if a Middle Eastern looking person, even an Indian looking person with a beard, suppose he used to get up to go to bathroom, everybody used to be scared. Or maybe he's going to the bathroom to take out the gun or take out the bomb. I'm sorry to bring those things up, but I mean, I know they're kind of horror stories, but they were real. I remember saw those myself. And at that time, I remember 2 years after 9/11, which happened in 2001. 2 years after that, 2003, on 11th of September, I was flying. I happened to fly for a customer meeting to California, and the flight was empty. For some reason, everybody used to be scared on 11th of September. And it went on. I mean, you guys were perhaps kids or not even born, but people who lived through that, we know that was a new normal. That you adjust yourself to that. I mean, that many times if your name is, I mean, the movies were made. My name is Khan and all that stuff, right? So I'm sure there'll be new movies made around Corona and COVID, right? Uh, After all this is over. So I hope I have kind of given you an overview in general. But I think in short, there will be, I would say, more caution in your interaction with people till we get the vaccine. And in general, overall, from business perspective, anything that requires digitalization or does not require digitalization at all are the businesses which will be able to survive post this period.
Okay. So as you talked about digitalization, so I would ask that there are, small businesses where we see a lot of non-tech savvy people. So how they can now better learn and equip themselves with technology?
See, that is a now, you all being the upcoming younger entrepreneurs of our country, right? I will say that you all should look at these problems. I mean, have you guys heard of Khata app, right? Right? I mean, I know somebody had actually presented me with a similar idea almost 10 years ago. And he said that all these small shops, not tech savvy, if they can put everything, if that was those were the early days of cloud, and they said that if we can enable them to put their inventory online, put their accounts online and all that, and really right now they pay a person to come and do their accounts, but everything can be managed online. But I think that was not the right time. I felt it was too early, but now these things are happening, right? I mean, with cloud being everywhere, I mean, our mobile phone being in every hand to be able to access things, you are able to provide or digitalize all those small shops. There are a couple of companies in India that I have worked with. Khata is one of them, and Purple is another one, which is a very good for retailers. I mean, we have used them in our headquarters at Heartfulness as well. I mean, they were able to provide a simple interface to you to be able to put all your inventory and do transactions with cash or any other digital form of payment. So I think it is happening, and it more of that will happen. To me, those will be the hottest companies in the future.
All right, sir. So there are several undergraduates who are oblivious to various changes in the line of industries and have no idea about what skills to develop to better their job prospects. How, according to you, should they prepare for days to come?
First, take a deep breath. The world is not ending, right? Take few more
Yes,
deep
sir.
breaths. Be relaxed. I'm telling them, all of them, right? Don't be worried. Things will be fine, right? All is well, like they say in the movie, right? Three Idiots, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So tell your heart, all is well, right? And that is, I think, the one thing I can offer them. From the, I have always believed in this, that more than the skill, it is your attitude towards work that matters. You know, I myself, I'm an employer of many people, and though I don't interview as many people myself these days, but when I used to, that's what I used to look for, the attitude in the person. Skills can be taught. I mean, in 4 years of college, if you think, you can learn everything to do, for rest of your life, you're mistaken. Your learning has just begun after you join the company. I remember myself, I mean, I had 30 years ago, actually, it has been 32 years since I did my first job in 1988. And I don't think I knew anything what I did in my first job before joining. I mean, I had done my BTech in electronics, but the kind of things we were doing, we were never exposed to those things while working. Here, you all are very fortunate because I know from UPES, we have hired many people or taken some people on internship and all. Many of you are already, well versed in virtualization, cloud, and DevOps and all that, thanks to I think Mr. Praveen, and I think that's wonderful. We have seen your students to be one of the best that we have hired in our company, and I think if you continue down that path of learning those newer things, you will be good. But to me, attitude still remains number one thing in a person. Attitude to learn, attitude to really being responsive rather than reactive. Those are important traits to have. And because learning will start after you join the company. But in general, I would say I mentioned already that those who are able to learn digital technologies and how to help companies more and more in those things. Uh, I mean, I won't be able to go to into the learn Python, learn Java, learn this. I mean, those are to me only tools. And for people like you, Shivali, who are in business, I think look at solving problems of the new world, right? You all are just don't look at doing your job of entering data and all that. I mean, it's real challenges. To me, every crisis is an opportunity for a person with good attitude. Like we say in our entrepreneurial realms that for an entrepreneur, every crisis is an opportunity because he looks at the new problems, and new problems will require new solutions, and that is a new business opportunity, right? And I think if you all can maintain that attitude, new problems require new solutions. Prepare yourself for those new solutions.
So then, as you said about having positive attitude, it's like, okay, most of us say and that, okay, you have a positive attitude, but how do we actually implement it? I mean, generally also it's very typical when you have so many people around you working in a corporate environment, and now in these times of fear and uncertainty, how can we develop that attitude towards work?
See, I mean, meditation is one of the best ways to do it, right? And if you
Yes,
are,
sir.
because what meditation helps you is move yourself away from all the chatter that is pulling you down, right? And connect, help you connect yourself with your heart or with your inner self. That is the biggest benefit of meditation. But like I had mentioned earlier, I'll remind again, E plus R equals O. So only thing you can control is your response to the event. Event you don't control, outcome of course you are expecting. So it is, and that depends on your mental state, and how do you improve your mental state is in your hand. Meditation is one of the tools, and then there are other. I mean, I have actually conducted some sessions just on how to develop positive attitude. There are a set of exercises and all that. I think there are a set of there are physical, mental, and spiritual ways that I have taught there, and that you could implement in your life to be able to develop those. But I think it's very essential in these times. I think they say in your how you will respond to any given situation, 50% of that is your genetics. I mean, your how you have been brought up and how things like that. I mean, right? And but remaining 50% is in your hand. Let's say 10% out of that is your circumstances. I mean, you're in America, you're in India, whatever, 10%. Still, big, major 40% of how you will respond is in your hand. And that is what designing destiny is all about, right? You can design your destiny, your own destiny, by having positive attitude. And it is because there are many, they say, other thing I had shared in my previous sessions was that for every negative thought, to nullify or cancel a negative thought in your mind, you will require three positive thoughts. That is again a scientific data. For every negative thoughts, to remove that from your system, you require three positive thoughts. So imagine it's so because the moment you get into negative thought, you get into a negative loop, and then it brings you down. So you know, thinking positive is something, not a choice now for you. You have to do that. And how you do that, as I said, meditation is one. There are some certain breathing exercises. They say from the physical side, always maintain a certain posture. We call it power position. Whenever you feel yourself being down, and don't talk about these negative things, because more you talk, you are increasing the number of thoughts that you have. And every time you do that, then right. And the other thing is that there's some visualization techniques I teach there. I think that you could come out of those things.
All right, sir. So, as you talked about that, we should not, for one negative thought, we should always have three positive thoughts. That sounds really a great technique to convince our mind. But still, sir, I mean, I have seen most of the youths in our college or be in any area, they are still not convinced that how they can, they can master their mind to sit for a while, calm themselves, to meditate. They are such in a restlessness that they fail to convince their mind. So how do we do that?
That is true, because I think, yeah, many of us who have been perhaps meditating for a while find it easier to be convinced about these things than others. So that's where I think I personally teach. Always start with the physical. As I said, let's practice some physical postures to come to positive frame of mind. Then do the breathing, right? Then do visualization. Then do meditation, right?
All right.
Not everyone is ready for meditation right from the first go, that we have all seen, right? And I think it does take time for people to realize this. Now, many of us who've been doing meditation, we think all those power position, breathing, and all that are useless. I mean, in the sense useless, I mean, in the sense is that's like, if you're a coffee drinker, I'm a coffee drinker. I like to drink espresso, right? I mean, dark, no sugar, no milk. For me, if somebody is drinking sugar with milk, it's waste. But some people just enjoy that. Let them get started with milk first, then milk with little bit of coffee, and then they will come to the real thing. They're not ready for the real thing yet. Don't ask them to jump straight into the real thing, because once you have tasted, once you have experienced the real meditation, you cannot go back. It's like if suppose somebody tells you, Shivali, let's go back to black and white television, right? We would not want to watch black and white. Having come this way into 4K and all that stuff, color, who wants to go back to that life, right? The same way, I think once they come to this meditation, then they will not go back. But it will take them time. They're still involved in other things, the visualization, breathing. Let them be busy with all that. Eventually they will come, right?
That means in the starting we need to train our
Yes,
mind to sit for a
yes,
while, and then after we experience, I think we love it.
yes.
So we also had a live question. They are asking that, sir, you have excelled in different realms of corporate sectors, yet you are a philanthropist and a heartfulness practitioner. We would like to hear your experience as to how you managed both the things so well.
I would say I don't manage anything. The time I
Okay.
spend in heartfulness, that manages me. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Right? To me, see, if you are able to prepare yourself well from inside, then it becomes easier for you to manage rest of the things. In fact, they get managed on their own. The real thing is you. That's a variable. How do you build yourself? See, when I have been doing meditation also for about 30 years. And when I started, I was perhaps similar age as many of you. I had graduated from my engineering and I had come to US at that time. And I was 23 and a half years old at that time. And I was not interested in meditation per se. I mean, I knew it's good, but I came across meditation through someone who used to work with me at work in the office. And I thought, well, we all know it's good. So let me try. And I tried, and it was hard. I mean, who can sit for 20, 30 minutes to not think or think about one thing? I mean, I had headache first time actually. Second time I still tried and slightly better. Second, still remember the second session very well. I think I was a bit joyful in that. And the third one was even better. But then doing it yourself afterwards was very hard. I mean, I was the guy who would get up at 8:30 a.m. and be at work by 9, like that. I mean, you sleep as long as you can, and then you just get up quickly, shower, take bath, and rush to work, right? But I changed my lifestyle. I wanted to change my lifestyle. And the reason, my motivation for doing it was I felt that this is the only thing I am doing on a daily basis which is making me better person today than I was yesterday. And I still remember for the last 30 years, I remember that motivation. That if I look at my daily schedule, I don't find even a single thing I do other than meditation, which is contributing to my growth as an individual. I mean, I eat, I read, I watch TV, I do this, I attend calls. All that is just to stay busy, keep keep they say the food on the table, or I mean, sustain your life. I exercise, I walk, and I mean that is all for other things. As a human being, there's only one thing I do that is making me a better person today than I was yesterday, and that is meditation. And it continues to surprise me that there is more to learn every day. There's more to imbibe every day. And to me, and so that's what manages me rather than me managing my life. Because it keeps me ready for anything that comes my way.
Thank you so much, sir. It was so good to hear words of wisdom from you. I think definitely it will inspire all of us. And as you said, that meditation has always been your first priority, which manage everything rather than you managing all of us. So let's not wait more. And so let's begin our heartfulness meditation and relaxation.
Sure. So we'll start with relaxation, right?
All right, sir.
Okay. Okay. How much time do we have?
Sir, 15 minutes.
Okay. So I will suggest whoever is watching this, first you find a quiet place. Hopefully you're able to. But if you're driving or something, you can stop your car in case you are. But find a quiet place, a stable place where you can sit comfortably and close your eyes. And let's first take few deep breaths to relax ourselves. I hope you can observe that the sense of relief and relaxation in you already. Now I will walk you through some steps of relaxation, heartfulness relaxation. Just follow my instructions as I say. Just keep your eyes closed, sit in a comfortable position, bring your attention gently to your toes. Just feel your toes. Now imagine the energy from earth is entering your toes making them relaxed. Feel the energy coming up to your ankles, making your ankles relaxed. Feel it going up your lower leg, your knees, making your entire lower leg relaxed. Feel your thighs, they are relaxed. Feel your seat, they are relaxed. Feel your stomach, all the muscles in your stomach are melting away. Bring the attention to your lower back, it is relaxed. Now feel the energy moving up through your spinal cord to your upper back. Feel that your entire back is relaxed. Feel your shoulders, they're melting away, they're relaxed. Feel the energy moving through your upper arm, your elbows, your lower arm, your palms, making your entire arm relaxed. Bring the attention back to your shoulders. Now you feel the energy moving up through your back of your neck, back of your head, top of your head, making your entire head relaxed. Feel your forehead. All the tension in your forehead is going away. Feel it's all relaxed in your forehead. Bring the attention to your facial muscles, your earlobes, your cheeks, tip of your nose, your chin. They're all relaxed. Bring the attention to your chest area. Entire chest area is relaxed. Now we will begin meditation by bringing our attention to the heart. Feel your heart. It's at rest. It's peaceful. Now we begin meditation by having this thought that my heart is filled with source of light. It's an abstract thought, anchor thought. Just stay with the thought. You're resting your mind on that thought. Every time your mind wanders, it's okay, you bring yourself back. If you get caught up somewhere in the thought, it's okay again. Bring yourself back to the same thought. Rest on it gently, softly. When it ends, I will say that's all. Please start meditation. That's all. Keep your eyes closed. Gently bring your awareness again to your heart. Just feel your entire body. Normalize your breathing. Slowly open your eyes. Shivali, you're on mute.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for meditation and relaxation. It was truly a soothing and wonderful experience to look in our inner self. I, Shivali Gupta, on behalf of entire Heartfulness fraternity, extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Sanjay Sehgal for sparing his precious time and furnishing all of us with such valuable and thoughtful words that would definitely help all of us to lead a better life. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing this webinar. We are truly
Thanks for
gratified
having
to
me.
have you.
Thanks for having me, Shivali. And next time you go to Indore, remember Chappan Dukan. Huh?
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. You're always welcome to Indore.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, this marks the end of our today's webinar. So, see you all. Take care, stay healthy, and stay safe.